Time now to head to our next very special guest. He's the captain of the Perth Wildcats, returning from their pretty hectic road schedule last week, and it ended on a very positive note with that overtime victory over the top of the Melbourne Tigers. We speak of Sean Redditch. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Going very well, thanks. Thanks for your time this morning. Congratulations on the victory over in Melbourne, and a pretty tough and grueling schedule for the boys with 3 games in 4 days.
Yeah, it was tough. It was. I think every team at some point during the season has to have a tough road trip. But when you're living in Perth and you're playing 3 games in 4 days, I think it makes it even more grueling. And yeah, I mean to get a win in the 3rd game, you probably wouldn't have picked that, especially in overtime. So we were disappointed in the first 2 games, but I think we showed our character in that 3rd one.
Sean, how tough was it really? I mean, that 3 games in 4 days, you've lost the first 2, and then to come into that last game against the Melbourne Tigers where, you know, it was an even toss of the coin, you know, to get up the way you've done, it's been a fantastic effort.
Yeah, I mean, and we were facing some adversity as well. We lost Brad Robbins at halftime, and then our two bigs fouled out, Luke Shincher and Galen Young, so we had to play with a smaller lineup the last 6 minutes of regulation and then overtime. And I mean, when you're basically playing with 6 guys and you played 3 games in 4 days and gotten up at 5:30 a.m. to catch a flight to go to Melbourne, it's you got a lot of things stacked against you. But it was a pretty amazing effort, and I think is something that really will give us confidence going into the finals, knowing that when we need to dig deep, we can.
Well, a lot of that is to do with your list. I mean, there's a lot of depth in that list, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're one of the few teams that, or maybe the only team in the league that doesn't really play anybody over 30 minutes. So I think that probably helped us in that 3rd game as well, because the first 2 games, most guys played 20, 25 minutes maybe max, and so you're a little bit fresher. And I think also, strategically in that 3rd game, we played a little bit of the zone in the first half, which I think saved our legs for the 4th quarter, which is where we had kind of lost our way the first 2 games. We hadn't played as well in the 4th quarter, and it cost us.
You've mentioned Brad Robbins had a bit of a problem, I think, with ribs and that. How is he and how are the others pulled up after that, hectic tour?
Yeah, well, we'll just see about Brad. I think it's still kind of a wait and see thing. But I mean, I know it was pretty sore the day after the game. But hopefully he'll be all right for this weekend. And yeah, I think the rest of the guys have recovered as good as you can, and we'll be. I think today's our first training session back. Since then, we had a few days off when we got back. So hopefully, we'll kind of see how everyone's feeling today.
Sean, the importance of the win against Melbourne at the Cage in the context of your season to try and secure a 1-2 spot on the table and obviously get that extra home final in the first week of the playoffs. How important was that game in the context of the season and the final standings?
Yeah, well, I mean, we got the best home court advantage in the league, so we know how important that be able to use that and have that advantage come finals time. And so we needed to at least get that 1 win out of that road trip. So I think we were feeling the pressure, and we knew that we had given ourselves a great opportunity going into the road trip and let ourselves down those first 2 games, and we just needed a special effort to get over the line in Melbourne.
What did Coach Beveridge have to say to the team after the loss to the Gold Coast on Friday night?
Well, it was actually a lot of the players spoke up. We felt like we weren't playing to the level that we needed to, and we were playing a little bit soft. And I think a lot of guys kind of spoke to what they were feeling, and everyone took it to heart and came out and played a different kind of basketball in that 3rd. And to be fair, in the first two games on the road trip, we played pretty good basketball for probably three quarters of each game, and just let ourselves down with a 5 or 10 minute stretch. So we knew we were capable of probably winning all 3 of them, but it's just a matter of putting it together for 40 minutes.
And your own form. I mean, being the captain of the side, have you been pleased with that and how it went on that tour as well?
Yeah, I started pretty poorly. I was shooting pretty bad in the first 2 games. I felt a little bit better in that Gold Coast, but was able to knock down a couple and get some confidence in the Melbourne game. But Yeah, that's one of the things this year that's so special about our team is we don't really rely on one or two guys to make the have to make all the points or to come up with big games every night. We got different guys that'll step up, and we had quite a few of them step up in the Melbourne game.
In previous seasons, Sean, you've been a clear standout as far as the Cats MVP is concerned. This season, it's probably a little bit more of an even race. I mean, excluding yourself, who would be your choice for the MVP this season for the Perth Wildcats?
I think it's a toss-up. There's a lot of guys that Stephen Way's had a great season, Kevin Lish, and Luke Schincher's shown brilliance at times as well. So it's it's something that I guess we'll just kind of see. But I mean, that's the least of our concerns right now. We're in a special place, and if we can get this game against Townsville on Sunday, I think we at least lock up home court in that first round, and hopefully we'll finish top of the ladder.
Well, it is an important game because if you don't, you could get down to fourth and lose that home ground advantage, the top two. So, yeah, there would be a bit of pressure on the boys.
Yeah, but this is why you work so hard in the preseason and all through the year. This is a fun time of year, and I think we're a pretty young team, and not too many guys have experienced finals basketball, and I think we're just really excited, and hopefully that youthful exuberance will hold us good come Sunday afternoon, and then into the finals time, and hopefully do something pretty special this year.
Sean, up against a couple of your former teammates as well over there at Townsville, you've been starting to build a nice little rivalry against the Crocs and a few teams in the competition, and I'm sure Corey Williams, the fans, wouldn't have forgotten his celebrations after their playoffs victory last summer.
Yeah, we owe them. It's that's still is in the minds of a few of the guys that were here from last year, and they played well at that game, and they celebrated like they had just won the championship. So we're going to be ready for Sunday, and then whoever. I mean, we could end up facing them again come that first round of finals. So we want to make sure that we send a message on Sunday.
Now, looking at the competition from, I guess, an objective point of view, mate, it's been a fantastic season with all teams being very competitive, and I think only the last 2 weeks it's dropped down to really 6 sides that can qualify for the final 4 spots, but the majority of the season, all teams have very much been in the running to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's been incredibly close race, and even Cairns is a dangerous team every time you face them, and in Adelaide. So, I mean, Adelaide, is one of the only teams to beat us on our home court, yet they're sitting in last place. So, and they're so deep and so talented. There's really, I mean, usually there's a bit of a gap between the first place and the last place, but this year there's not a whole lot in it. And I think it's been good for the competition. We'll see. Hopefully, I know they're talking, getting to 10 teams next year, and I think that would be good. But this 8-team format, although we feel like we're playing the same teams all the time, it's been each game is so important and so much riding on it.
Well, it's one question that is on everyone's lips as far as basketball in Australia is concerned. Do we need a team in the major capital cities of Brisbane and Sydney to make the competition strong?
I think so. I mean, you got the big cities. You got a lot of basketball players there. I think you got to have a team, especially in Sydney. So. From everything I've heard, everything looks like it's going to go ahead next year, at least in Sydney and hopefully Brisbane, and I think it's going to give a little bit more credibility to the league.
Sean, thanks very much for your time this morning on SportFM. Best of luck against the Townsville Crocs this Sunday from 4 p.m. That broadcast right here on SportFM 91.3. Best of luck, and we'll speak to you again hopefully this time next week.
All right, thanks, guys.